client.
Yes.
Looking like they don't know
Right.
and are not professionals and are not knowledgeable.
Right.
So that's why there's a huge gap of education.
You're absolutely right. The problem is that crypto grew up outside of Wall Street.
Right.
So firms have no internal institutional knowledge. There's nobody on staff who can provide crypto training. And because of the uncertainty in a regulatory environment, they don't know if they want to recommend crypto or make it available. So their attitude is, don't talk about it. How does that serve the client?
Yeah.
Therefore, we focus on education. I don't care whether you like it or not. I don't care if you recommend it or not. I put it in the category kind of like annuities. We all have strong opinions about annuities, love them or hate them. But
not as strong as Ken, but yeah.
Even if you hate annuities, you understand the tax rules. You understand how they work. You know the difference between an owner and a beneficiary. You can talk intelligently to your client. I'm simply saying you should be able to do the same thing with crypto.
Do you see an ebb and flow?
And this is kind of to like their later conversation that's so true is like, yeah, I mean, we just need it. Like the problem with the crypto space right now is that they're not giving us any there's no rules. It's all opaque right now. And intentionally, you know, at the SEC, there's a whole movement. Can you imagine how bad you have to fuck up? I've never in my whole life I've heard of any chair of the SEC being with a petition in Congress to get them fired. Yeah. I cannot think of it. Maybe some of them have decided just to, you know what, I'm gonna retire off because they're probably gonna come after me or something. But I've never heard it is like to this is so egregious. This is to the level of like Nixon.
Yeah.
Like it's that bad. The man took us off the gold standard. You know what I'm saying? Like egregious, and doing a bunch of illegal stuff and everything like that. That's insane. And we just want to know the rules. But if I'm being honest as well, we also need some rules to protect and enhance the industry as well as some subsidies. You're giving subsidies to everything else. There has to be some subsidies in order to protect the U.S. home front when it comes to the crypto industry and stuff. I mean, they gave a little bit to the Bitcoin miners, but there's no more Ethereum miners anymore. So it's the mining industry is a dying industry, you know. So yeah.
Advisor interest in your programs with the prices like retail, where more advisors become more interested in learning about it when the prices are up and less when it's down? There's
always that behavioral finance mistake that people make. But what is fascinating to me that I wouldn't have guessed, Ben, having watched Bitcoin drop 70% in 2022, I would have thought interest across the board would have dropped. It didn't. The number of consumers who own Bitcoin rose. The number of advisors who own it rose. We're now at the point where, according to the last survey I saw, 47% of financial advisors, nearly half, personally own Bitcoin.
That I would believe.
Yeah. But only 12%
finance adjacent, and they're all exposed to, you know, Wall Street Journal stories on.
So this is a big thing of like, do what I say now as I do, but some of them are like want to tell their clients, but they're afraid.
Yeah.
And
they're afraid to be judged.
They're afraid to be judged and stuff because I mean they do have them on this thing of like what did you do for me recently? What did you? And this is something like even Warren Buffett has talked about. And we got to stop rating people on this quarterly crap, and it's got to be more maybe like twice a year. And like I can actually see that like that is a big problem in stock market as well. Is that what's the quarterly earnings report? What's the quarterly earnings report? And I think if we changed the mentality of the stock market to every 6 months, I think we would get a little bit more long-term thinking. And we'd get corporations taking a little more shots on stuff. But yeah. Because there's a lot of things in corporate America that they're not willing to do because they're so afraid of fucking up the numbers for the quarter that they won't take shots and stuff. This is why like the most innovative companies, I mean, they're willing to do all that. That's why the stocks are so sporadic and stuff, but then they get these huge outside gains. There's a lot of these other corporations who could have been in that position, but they just won't take the shots anymore. You know?
Yeah, well, that's why everybody's looking at Michael Saylor like he's freaking insane. But if you listen to the stream we had yesterday on this channel, right, you'd come to the conclusion it's pretty actually reasonable.
I mean, let's go. Let's listen to what Michael Saylor has to say. Right? Let's see. I want to hear what Michael Saylor has to say. Right?
Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay, what's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay. But take all your money, buy Bitcoin, then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin, then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin. And if you absolutely love the thing that you don't want to sell it, go mortgage your house and buy Bitcoin with it. And if you've got a business that you love because your family works for the business, it's in your family for 37 years, and you can't bear to sell it, mortgage it, finance it, and convert the proceeds into the hardest money on earth.
Reasonable. Like I said, reasonable.
You know, as time goes on, this man seems less crazy to me. No,
It's just like you gotta go back and watch that stream from yesterday if you don't want to know what we're talking about there.
Right, but I wanna highlight one quick thing. So shout out to you, man. My best friend is a CFA, and his company won't let them talk about crypto to its client. Meanwhile, the firm is buying up Bitcoin like a madman. And why is that? Because if they're getting their bags first, so their clients can pump their bags.
Yep.
Look, I don't see how it's possible by 2025 we don't hit like $100,000 Bitcoin plus.
Well, the funny thing is that Bitcoin's a large enough asset right now that they think like that, and that's just because they're of a little bit of a scarcity mindset. They know how that stuff works, but it's like, go do that with a shitcoin or something. Doing that with Bitcoin is not going to have the effect that they think it will for the most part. Yeah. But at the same time, depending on how much, if they're that $300 billion client, might be a little different story.
Now we have somebody in the chat saying they're going to start their own crypto course for only chicks. And King of Jacks just said, if your students are anything like the FNF chicks, you're in for quite the classes.
Yeah, well, there'll be the have yachts and have nots, and I guess that'll be interesting. But
I would, if I was going down that lane, right? This is some free advice here. If I was going down that lane, I would do some sort of, I'd mix it with astrology.
Well, what's her name? Maven, I think. There's that lady on Twitter.
Yeah. There's like a witch chick. What's her name?
Yeah.
What's her name? It's with an M.
It's Maven or Maxon or something like that. But she does that, right? She's like, oh, the moon phase is this on, and like overlays it to the chart. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, God help us all.
There's this guy in the Hex community. I thought he was a good guy and stuff. Some people didn't like him, but I told him some advice right here. If he had followed it, I would have made him a multi-millionaire. Good texture, right? I told him, dude, you're really good at talking. You're really good at talking and stuff. You're a good talker, but like but you're a little too divisive sometimes, and you probably you kind of like can shoot yourself in the foot sometimes. I was like, bro, go do. You're already into all this energy shit. Go be like a male astrologer, bro. You kill it, bro. I've seen how these astrology do. Now, look, it's a grift. I know it is a grift. Okay, I know that. But but it's such a fucking open lane, dude. You
remember the tarot card guy that I told you about?
Yes.
I had a consultation once with this guy, right? And he was like, "Bro, I'm kind of pigeonholed." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he was like, "I got a 400,000 sub YouTube channel." I'm like, "Oh, that's great." He's like, "Yeah, but there's a problem." I'm like, "Yeah, what's that?" He's like, "I read tarot cards." I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I read tarot cards. He's like, I grew the channel thinking I could pivot later, and like I found out I can't. I have to start over from zero again. And he's just like, I was like, oh my god, bro, this is such a big L. So it's like, I personally would not advise that. But hey, if you want to lose part of your soul and do astrology for men, go for it. I think that was like Gary, the numbers guy, or something like that. There was a guy like that on Twitter.